All right, tonight's homework, we got 764 through 67 or 68.
68.
Oh, 68. Okay, so starting with 64 here, we're dividing fractions and or decimals. There's multiple ways to do it. We're going to show you at least two different ways to work it out if my screen ever comes back to life. Okay, so number one, or A, we have 4 1/3 divided by 1 1/6. The first thing we're going to do is turn this mixed number into a
Improper fraction.
There we go. Improper fraction. So we're going to take this 4 1/3. You're going to multiply by the 4, and you're going to add the numerator and keep the denominator. So 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Whoops, getting ahead of myself. And we keep the 3. We're going to keep change flip. We're going to do the inverse. So we're going to change that division sign into a multiplying sign. And we're going to take this 1 times 6 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 6. We have to flip that, so we call it 6/7. And then we multiply straight across. 13 times 6 is 78. Everyone knows what 7 times 3 is by now, 21. You have to say how many 21s go into 78, which would be 3. And whatever's left over, which is 15, right? Over 21. And then we notice that 15, 21 have 3 in common. 3 times 5 is 15. So we get 5, and then 7 times 3 is 21. So we get 7. We get our reduced simplified answer to 3 5/7. Now that is a lot of work, and I'll probably be here all day if I have to solve the next two with you, so we'll set them up. You can go old school division here. And again, if you start out with your 2.48 and divide that 806. Again, we have our decimals. Don't worry about your decimals when you're dividing. You'll know when to put your decimal in the right place. Another way you can do that is change this into 8 6/100 and 2 48/100, and you can do the same model, turn them into improper fractions and multiply. I did that on my other sheet on the answer key. Same thing here. Multiply by the whole number, add the numerator, so you get 17 over 5 times 13 over 10, and multiply straight across. You'll get your answer again. Use the answer key, check. Okay, now we got to do the inverse of the next problem. So we're just finding opposites. All right. So the opposite of 7/8 is what, Brad?
8/7.
There you go. We got 8/7 here. What I want you to do then on your own is you can turn the 1 1/2 into a fraction. So our answer key says 3 over 2, so we do the opposite of that. You could also do 1/4 or quarter, do the opposite of this, turn your mixed number into an improper fraction, and you get, draw some lines up here. And I'm using Duke blue on a NCAA tournament day, so this isn't good. You get 5/3. So give me the inverse of all three. Here, you're smart enough to figure that out. And let's get to 766, which is this big complicated problem. I don't like charts, but they give you the decimal division problem. So 1.4 divided by 7/10, 1 4/10 divided by 7/10. What they did is multiply each by 10, so you would get 14, a nice solid even number. And that's why we're doing this giant one, to make it easier on you. Sometimes it makes it more difficult, like the next one. How many 7/10 is in 10 would be 7. So then right now, you know 7 into 14. How many times does 7 go into 14?
2 times.
2 times, and there's your answer. So it looks complicated, but it's really not that bad. Following your model then, you have 520 times 1,000. I don't have any room, so I'm going to write over here. I'm just going to add a bunch of zeros. So I'm going to add these 3 zeros to 520, and I get 520,000. Yikes. Not a number I want to work with. Put that over 13,000 times 1,000 would just be 13, similar. So our division problem is 13 divided by, yikes, 5,000, 520,000. The only time I want to see that number is if I'm making it, like LeBron James does probably every 2 games he plays. So you got to do the math. I'll leave that for you. Again, 13 into 52, and then you just pretty much have all your zeros. The next one, they're asking you what you should multiply by to get whole numbers. Well, 8.2, 8 times 10 is 80. 2 times 10 is 2, or 2/10 times 10. So we're going to make this 10 over 10. You're going to get 82 over 4. So then you got to come do the division. How many 4s go in 82? You'll get your answer. 2 to go. Oh, jeez. We got 0.02. Sorry for the noise. Some kid is just learning how to drink on the drinking fountain for the first time since we just introduced preschool here at Genoa. So we got our 200ths and our 5,000ths. If you're going to multiply by the giant 1, we would use 1,000. So we got 1,000 over 1,000. Sorry, I'm getting crammed here. From 1,000 over 1,000, we get 200ths times 1,000 is 20, and then 5,000ths times 1,000 is 5. You do the math. 5 divided by 20. You should already have that one figured out. And then the last one here, we got 10 and 500ths over 2,500ths. We're going to multiply that by 100 to get 1,005 over 25. And then you're going to divide how many 25s go into 1,005. All right. So if you got to slow that down, copy that, you should be able to find all your answers. Next, we're just checkpoints for, again, straight across, 4/15, can't be reduced. So I'm not going to really talk about these because it is a checkpoint. We've been doing these all year. Again, turn these in improper fractions. Line up your numbers, not your decimals. So at least set this up for you. 2.71 times 4.5, multiply. And then to line up our numbers, I'm going to add some zeros here. And I'm going to get 0.0007. Go ahead. Or you can get rid of these zeros and just multiply by 7 and add them at the end. And then last part, you got a graph, gas mileage. Use the graph to predict the number of miles it could travel with 3 gallons. Well, that could be a pretty good prediction right there, I would say, if it is going at a constant rate. Use the graph to predict the number of miles your car is with 5 gallons. Again, where do you think that mark's going to go? So pretty simple. Front's a little complicated, but hopefully you didn't spend more than 10 minutes on your homework tonight. And I'm out of here before the 8th grade comes stampeding in like a bunch of cows heading to the dairy farm. All right, thanks for watching.